Hello and welcome to another League video here on ModernNexus.com. My name is Ryland, also known as Holy Shamgar on Twitch. And today we're going to be playing with a Blue-Red Wizards, Blue-Red Fairies, Blue-Red Delver, whatever you want to call it. Sort of a mixture of all three of those things. We do have Wizards Lightning present. And of course, Spellstutter Sprite, and Vendilion Click as our resident fairies, alongside Mutavault and Fairy Conclave. Also, of course, all of those things except Fairy Conclave are wizards as well. Mutavault, of course, V-Click, and Spellstutter Sprite. Alongside Snapcaster, Grim Lavamancer, and the front half of Delver of Secrets, we do not often have very much trouble casting Wizard's Lightning for one. Outside of that, we've got a kind of a typical Delver shell. A little bit in the way of interaction in Mana Leak, Remand, and the Sprite, as well as some removal, Bolt, Vapor Snag, Burst Lightning, the Lavamancer, already mentioned, Wizard's Lightning, of course, and Electrolyze. Serum Visions to try and help our Delvers flip, allow us to play a little bit of a lower land count. I should mention that the majority of this list I got from Jeff Hoagland. His list was slightly different, and I did play a little bit with that on stream. But the shell is the same. That list did not have any Serum Visions, and instead had a couple Cryptics and a couple more lands. I believe that to be the only difference, if I'm remembering correctly. The sideboard was one card different. I believe Magma Spray over the second Staticaster. But anyway, that aside, we're trying sort of a little bit of a lower to the ground version. 23 lands, not unreasonable for a deck that's trying to cast a bunch of Mana Leaks and Remands, but it felt like it could go a bit lower if we snuck some cantrips in there, and maybe that would help our Delvers flip with a little bit greater frequency. So I'm going to try that out. We are playing, the full 16 creatures in a Delver deck, which is sort of the ceiling for that kind of thing. So without stuff like Taxian Probe, we have to play a slightly higher land count. It can make it very difficult for these Delvers to flip, and thus Serum Visions present. We'll see. They're still a little bit clunky. You might say, why not opt in a deck that wants to play Mana Leak, Remand, and Spellstutter Sprite, Snapcaster, V-Click, all this instant speed stuff? I think that's really reasonable. But it doesn't really help us set up for our Delvers. Still enables the lower land count. Still enables a higher instant and sorcery count for Delver of Secrets, so it helps in that regard, but obviously doesn't allow us to set up for a Delver flip by leaving cards on top. Now, that might be a low enough, like, that might be a small enough thing that opt would be better just because of the instant speed scenario, and that's something I'm considering and still testing, so that's something we want to pay attention to, I suppose, in a league like this. Sideboard, we've got a couple negates for those controlling or sort of combo matchups, I suppose. Disdainful Stroke in a similar spot. Dispel as well. Dismember, Roast, and Abrade, sort of our additional removal suite. They come in different spots. Roast and Dismember particularly helpful for those 5 toughness creatures. Gurmag Angler, Tarmogoyf sometimes won't get got by those things, but just the larger threats of the format. Abrade obviously being great against all the artifact decks while still coming in against the creature decks. And sometimes doing a little bit of both against, say, Infect or Affinity or whatever. Staticaster, great against those two decks and others. It's just nice to have the creature that can really shoot things down repeatedly, and it's a wizard, so extra points there, I suppose. And Damning Sphere just for those tough combo matchups, whether it be Storm, KCI, they come in against Tron, of course, those particular big mana decks. It helps there. Let's see, Jeff had suggested, or was intending, I suppose, to play Alpine Moon. Once that hits, maybe Blood Moon is the better substitute in the interim, but he decided to go with Damping Sphere. Well, actually, I think he originally had Blood Moon and then had suggested to me that Damping Sphere might be better. I think that's reasonable, especially considering how essential things like Mutavault and Fairy Conclave are for the deck, so I like it better this way. I'm not sure if it's worth it at all, or if Alpine Moon will even be better. I suspect Maybe some combination might even be better. I don't know. I'm not certain. But for now, that's what we're working with. So we'll go ahead and hop into the league and see how it goes.